News at noon. I am Hoyt. We are coming up on the 1 week mark since the tornadoes ripped through central and eastern Arkansas. It's also Good Friday, being observed as a day of remembrance at the state capitol. We'll get you a weather update from Corrales-Ortiz in just 1 second. But Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, in addition to other state leaders, out there on the steps of the state capitol, gathering to remember the lives lost and those impacted a week ago. Let's go there now live. All right, as we wait for comments to be made, there we see the governor just arriving. We'll allow her to shake some hands, but first let's get a weather update from Corrales-Ortiz.
Yeah, again, 1 week after dealing with those, unfortunately, strong tornadoes that moved through the area just a week ago. Fortunately, the weather is expected to be quiet for this upcoming week, a much needed time to, help continue with the recovery and everything. The cloud cover right now has just been persistent since the last 24 hours. Here's what we're looking at right now. Visible satellite, some thinning out of the clouds across the northern portions of the state, but it's still pretty dense out there. Still seeing a few spotty showers hanging on across far southeast Arkansas. We picked up quite a bit of rain over the last couple of days. Matter of fact, some places, because of the consistent rounds of rain moving over southeast Arkansas, picked up anywhere from 5 to over 10 inches of some rainfall in just a couple of days. So yeah, the ground's pretty saturated there. We're going to be slightly warmer today compared to yesterday, in the low 60s, cloudy skies, windy conditions out of the north and east. Looking nicer though. By your holiday weekend, we'll start to see the return a little bit of some of that sunshine and warmer temperatures as well. A full check of your forecast is coming up.
All right, let's head back out to the state capitol as Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor, is making remarks and leads to a moment of silence.
Unbelievable outpouring of love and support and individuals taking care of one another over the course of the last week. That spirit is what makes me not just proud to be the governor, but proud to be an Arkansan, proud to be a believer. I ask that each of you join with us as we remember those lives that were lost, but also as we remember the spirit of our state and we build back better and stronger today than we've ever been before. So if you could, please join me in a moment of silence, and then I've asked Pastor Miller to come up and close us in a word of prayer. Thank you.
We will keep an eye on that ceremony. Again, a moment of silence there from the Capitol steps. But we have been getting a greater idea of the amount of devastation that's taken place all across the disaster zone from last Friday's storm. The State Director of Emergency Management says the tornado destroyed 120 homes and affected almost 1,700 more. The cities of Jacksonville and Little Rock broke that down even more for us. In Jacksonville, 180 houses, 2 apartment complexes, 11 businesses, 4 churches, and an elementary school all sustained some kind of damage. As you can imagine, the scale's even larger in Little Rock, with close to 3,000 structures impacted. And then we've reached out to North Little Rock and Sherwood to get an idea about their damage. They are still tallying up those numbers for us. Volunteers are needed throughout the disaster areas. City-led mobilizations are scheduled for today, tomorrow, and Monday in the Walnut Valley neighborhood of Little Rock. To participate, you can sign up at littlerock.gov/volunteer. You'll be doing things like cutting and gathering tree waste, removing debris, and regular household waste. And in the midst of all the chaos, people with disabilities have an extra load to carry. FEMA estimates around 64,000 people who identify as disabled have been affected in some way by the tornado. And the FEMA director who oversees disability coordination, Sherman Gillums, recognizes everybody is going to have a different situation and therefore require a more customized approach to recovery. He says they plan to meet people where they are, which is why he says they've got disaster assistance teams going throughout these neighborhoods. Those teams have FEMA gear, badges, and they're trying to find individuals in those hard-hit areas. They might not have Wi-Fi access, or they might not be with the correct information. They're trying to get them caught up and how they can begin the recovery process.
Disasterassistance.gov provides updates on locations where the disaster recovery centers are located. We try to position those in areas that are easy to get to. Some people are going to have trouble with transportation. For example, those who need accessible transportation. So we want to position these recovery centers in neighborhoods that are easy to get to, that are accessible.
And Director Gillum says the number is 1-800-621-3362. You can go to disasterassistance.gov as well. That's the FEMA site. It's the best place to start if you've been impacted in some way. Again, the number 1-800-621-3362. Now, we know a lot of you who might not have been directly impacted are looking for a way to lend a hand. Well, if you text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 501-376-1111, we'll get you a full list of things that you can do to help those who've been damaged by the storm. New at noon, the Protect Arkansas Act is headed to the governor's desk. The new law brings reforms to the criminal justice system. Among some of the major changes are requirements that those that commit violent criminal offenses like capital murder and rape have to serve 100% of their sentence. Other changes including requirements for people charged with crimes to a lesser degree, manslaughter, second degree murder, and other things. They have to serve 85% of their sentence. And money is also on the way for more corrections officers. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin releasing a statement this morning proclaiming a, quote, monumental victory for public safety and the quality of life. The Republican AG has referred to what he calls a catch and release justice system. His statement added that violent criminals are now on notice. Arkansas will no longer tolerate a system that compromises the safety of its citizens. That's the HV11 update now. The Arkansas Supreme Court has made its latest decision in a new West Memphis 3 case. Damian Eccles, one of the three of that case, want modern DNA testing done on evidence from the murder. Lower courts have blocked that new testing, and the state attorney general had moved to dismiss the case, but the high court said no, and that the appeal should go on. They did give the AG's office an extra month to file that response in the case, and in a statement, Eccles' attorney says he's hopeful this gets that evidence tested. The latest jobs report is out. It shows the job market remains healthy but is slowing down. Michael George has a look inside the numbers that come back for the month of March.
The leisure and hospitality industry, including restaurants, added 72,000 workers last month, but that's way down from the average monthly gain of 95,000 over the past 6 months. Other industries like healthcare are seeing a similar slowdown. Overall, the economy added 236,000 jobs in March, a significant drop from the employment gains in January and February. The unemployment rate is at 3.5%.
236,000 jobs in a month is certainly a big slowdown. It's the slowest job growth since December of 2020.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says overall growth is being slowed by cuts in some industries. In March, Meta announced a second round of layoffs involving 10,000 workers. Amazon is in the midst of letting 9,000 more employees go. Goldman Sachs and Disney are also downsizing. Companies announced 270,000 job cuts in the first quarter of 2023, a nearly 400% increase from the same period last year. But the weakening job market could be a good sign for the Federal Reserve, which has been raising interest rates in an attempt to slow the economy and inflation.
The Fed needs to see the labor market cool down. The reason is when job growth is robust, when wages are rising, it means that people have more money in their pockets and spend more. That spending can contribute to inflation.
The Fed will soon find out if inflation is easing. The government is releasing a new report on consumer prices next week. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Let's go overseas now to the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. Classified documents detailing war plans have been leaked, and they're showing up on social media. The Pentagon is investigating how the documents managed to get out there. They show secret American and NATO plans, anticipated weapons deliveries, troop and battalion strengths. The U.S. has been supplying weapons and training to Ukraine, preparing to launch an offensive to drive Russia out of the country.
we very much appreciate everything that the United States have done, specifically in the last months, to help our army prepare itself for the counteroffensive.
Now, the leaked documents don't provide specific battle plans or mention when and where the Ukraine intends to launch the offensive. American officials say that is likely, though, in the next month or so. When a secretary at Penn started experiencing unusual GI issues, her colleagues sprang into action. How her team solved a medical mystery when the news at noon returns. But first, Corrales.
We were tracking severe weather in the area a week ago, and I'll have a quick recap of what we saw confirmed from those storms last Friday and what else is expected as we enter your holiday weekend as well, coming up.